Hello and welcome back, or welcome to my channel if you are new here. Today we are jumping into part 2 of my Instagram followers choose my reads for the Mystic Readathon. So if you don't know what we're doing, pause right here if you haven't seen part 1. Pause it. I will have part 1 to this linked above in the cards and also down below in the description of this video. Go back and watch part 1 so that you're caught up and you know what's going on. But for those of you who are fully up to speed and know what's happening, or just simply don't care to go back and you don't mind being confused for a little while, we're going to jump in to our week 3 poll. It's currently Sunday, September 14th, so I'm getting ready to do the poll for week 3. And I normally do these polls on Saturdays so that I can start reading on Sunday, but I actually had not finished the last book from the last video until this morning, so I didn't want to do the poll too early and then have too many books open. So here we are today on a Sunday doing it. So gonna do the poll now, and then I will announce it in the Discord a little bit later in the day because, like I said, I just finished the book from the last video, which you already saw. Just finished that this morning. Just finished the vlog clip for that like 30 seconds ago before I started this one. And so I need to go upload that to my computer, edit it, add it to the video so I can upload that video, because possibly once you guys see how weeks 1 and 2 went and you see what emojis were for which books and which books were for which factions, maybe that'll help in your decision making for weeks 3 and 4. So I want to get that video out today before I announce that the poll is up so that you guys have a chance to see that before you vote, and then maybe that'll help. It might not help at all, but I figured I'd at least give you the opportunity, right? So we are going to jump into this poll now. I want to get this up as soon as possible. So we're going to open up Instagram, and I already have, just like last time, I have a background already loaded up. I have a lovely image of the Mystic Falls High School, and we're going to put some text on the page. I want to keep the same layout like I did before, so pick my reads for, move that up here, the Mystic Readathon, and we're going to make that red, and we'll make it bigger and move it up here. Alright, let's get the poll. Week 3 choices. Option A, we're going to go with a broken heart emoji. This is for, I think it's called Our Crooked Heart. So this will be for the witch faction. And then option B, we're going to go with a dinner plate. If I can find it. Oh, here it is. Yeah, I wanted the one with the knife and the fork specifically. I don't know why, but that's the one that I wanted to use. And this one is going to be for, what is it called? Dinner for Vampires? Something like that. The memoir that Bethany Joy Lenz wrote. So that is going to be our pick for the vampires, and I will say this is the one out of the list that I want to read the most, so I'm really hoping that this one wins. It would be my luck if it does win too, because so far the vampire books keep winning, so hopefully we can keep that streak going, not for the sake of the vampires, but just for the sake of me, because I really want to read this book. And then option C, we're gonna go with a train, and this is going to be for Everyone in This Train is a Suspect, which is the sequel to Everyone in My Family Has Killed Someone, which, fun fact, I actually read that book because it was one of the poll winners last year when I did this. So I loved it, gave it 5 stars, and just haven't gotten around to the sequel yet. So gonna put that in the running. That'll be for our human faction. And then for our 4th option, option D, we are gonna go with a bionic arm, like a robotic arm. And this is gonna be for Cinder, because my understanding from what I've read about Cinder is that Cinder is about a girl who's like half cyborg or something like that, so hybrid. Obviously this will be our hybrid pick. I wouldn't mind reading this. I honestly wouldn't mind reading any of these. They're all books that either are already on my TBR, things that I already wanted to read, stuff that I really want to read, or stuff that I just wouldn't mind because they're pretty popular and I hear good things about it anyway. So we have our poll. We're ready to go, ready to post. So this will stay up for 24 hours and we will see what ends up happening, what ends up winning. I'll be back tomorrow with the results. So I'll see you then. So we are back. It is the next day, and it is time to find out which one of these books won the poll pick for week 3. So I did kind of check on this throughout like the 24 hours or like a little bit. So the first time I looked, The Dinner Plate was in first place, which was perfect because that's the book that I really wanted to read anyway. I really wanted to read Dinner for Vampires. I've been wanting to read this book since like the end of last year. And so I was very excited that that was winning. But then I checked back a little bit later and The Train was winning, which I was not expecting. I did not think that that was going to like suddenly overtake all the other options. I was like, wow, is a human book actually going to win? And I'm kind of curious to know why people were voting for that. Not that that's bad. Like, I was excited to read that book too. I've been wanting to read Everyone on This Train is a Suspect for a while, ever since I read Everyone in My Family Has Killed Someone last year for last year's poll pick video. So wasn't mad about it at all. Was very much looking forward to it. I would have been perfectly fine if that one ends up winning. But I was just surprised. I'm just like, why is everybody voting for The Train? What do they think this book is? And I'm wondering too, maybe they thought it was going to be like Murder on the Orient Express or something like that by Agatha Christie. I don't know. If you voted for The Train, I'm curious. Let me know down below in the comments. What was your, like, why? Thank you, but why? But then the last time that I checked, which was like late last night, the broken heart emoji was the one that was winning, which I was also kind of surprised about. I don't know if people thought that that was the vampire pick because like hearts, vampires, like ripping out your heart, staking you through the heart with a wooden stake or whatever. Like, I don't know. Or maybe they thought it was Once Upon a Broken Heart. I don't know. I'm just not sure why that one stood out to people over the others, but that was the one that was winning the last time I checked. So we are going to take a look now to see what ended up actually winning now that the poll is completely over. So let's take a look and see. And it was the broken heart emoji. So I am going to be reading, this is for our Crooked Hearts. So I don't really know much about this book. I'm happy for the witches that at least this time the vampires didn't win. It's crazy too because I feel like the vampires won like week 1 and week 2. And then the one week that I actually wanted them to win so I could read Dinner for Vampires, they don't win. So that's a little bit of a bummer for me. But I am happy for the witches, at least this time. You know, we're not going 3 for 3 on the vampires. So congratulations to the witches because they are the team that is going to be receiving the points for this book. So yeah, I am going to start this book. Like I said, I don't really know anything about it other than I asked for recommendations with witches in school, and this was one of the ones that was given to me. So otherwise, I know nothing else about this. Can't tell you what it's about, have no idea, and kind of don't want to know, honestly. I think it'll be more fun for me going into it if I don't know. So yeah, I'm going to go grab this book from Libby and I'm going to start it, and I'll probably check back in with you guys around like the halfway mark and I'll let you know how it's going. So I'll talk to you guys then. All right, we are back with our first update for our Crooked Hearts. I am currently sprinting. Got my Stafussy merch on for all you Stafussy fans. But yeah, let's talk about our Crooked Hearts. So going into this, I didn't really think too much about like what this book was going to be. Didn't read the synopsis or anything like that. But I wasn't, for some reason, expecting it to be YA. I don't know why, because if I went into it thinking that it was going to be witches in school, then most likely it would have been YA. But for some reason in my mind, I had it that it was going to be like adult or like new adult or something. Like, I don't know. It's like, it's not so much the age of the characters that's surprising to me, where I'm like, oh, I wasn't expecting them to be like teenagers. It's more so like the writing style feels very YA. Like reading this, I can tell that this is a YA book by the way that it's written, like the style that it's written in, which, you know, it makes sense given the age of these characters. But for some reason, I don't know, I guess I thought they were going to be like 16, 17, or even like 19, 20, like Fourth Wing kind of vibes, where they're like younger characters, like school age characters, but like mature writing. But that is not the case. This is very much a YA book. It actually kind of reminds me a lot of Secret Circle, which was written by the same person that wrote The Vampire Diaries, RIP. But yeah, this very much reminds me of Secret Circle. I think that I like Secret Circle a bit more, but the vibes are definitely like very similar. If I didn't know any better, I would almost guess that those books were kind of written around the same time, like the same period. But I'm pretty sure, based on all the like modern day references in this book, that this book must have been written, I'm going to say, like in the last 5 or 10 years. Whereas like all the L.J. Smith books were written, I think, in like the 90s or something. But it definitely feels like L.J. Smith writing, but like modern day. Like I said, I really like Secret Circle, so I am enjoying this book, but I feel like I've gotten to like the halfway. I'm a little over halfway, and I feel like so much has happened. Like we just got to like this really big, like climactic action magic scene, and I'm just like, there's still like 50-40% left in this book. What else is going to happen? Like, what is there left to do? I feel like we could have ended the book right here. So now I'm kind of like worried intrigued, you know, on the edge of my seat, like, what else is there to do? Like, where are we gonna go from here? Like, now that I'm reading it, this isn't witches in school. It doesn't have anything to do with them being in school. They are school age characters because they're like 17 or something like that. But it has nothing to do with them in school. I don't know if we ever even see them in school in any of the scenes in this book. I went into it thinking that this was going to be like an academic type of setting or like a, you know, a school backdrop or something. And that's not the case at all. So I was like, what the heck? Like, this isn't what I thought it was. But with this story, you get like a dual timeline. So you get like the present day with our main character, Ivy. And she's kind of like telling you like things that are happening right now. And I don't want to spoil anything or give anything away, but she has this very distant relationship with her mother. Her dad is just, you know, he's there. Her brother, he's there off his doing his own thing. I think he's in college, but like he's like home for break or something. And so she's just kind of just like, you know, living her life day to day. You know, she wants to be closer to her mom. She wishes that she was closer to her mom, but her mom just seems very like distant from the whole family, not just her, but from the whole family. And her mom is like kind of weird. And so one day some weird stuff happens and she goes to her mom's shop or her aunt's shop or something and they're not there. And then basically they go missing and they don't come home for like 3 days. And she's like, what the heck? Like, where's my mom? And so that kind of is what kicks off, for the most part, that's kind of like what kicks off the present day storyline. It's her trying to figure out like what's going on with her mom. She finds some things in the house that she's like, what is this? This is weird. She finds a photo. She's like, who is this in the photo? All of that stuff. But you also get this other timeline, which is in the past, and it's from her mother's perspective. I forget what her name is, but I think her name was like Dana, maybe. But you get Dana's perspective from when she was a teenager. And you find out that she had a close-knit group of friends and they got into some things back in the day and she had to make some choices, and those choices basically are catching up to her today in the present timeline. And so you're getting the past and like kind of like what led up to all of that, and then you're also getting the present and how the past is affecting the present now. Like I said, we just had this big like action magic scene. It's like, oh my gosh. But yeah, now, like I said, I have about a little less than half to go. And I just have no idea where this story is going to go next, because I feel like we truly could have ended the book where I just left off at the halfway mark. So I'm like, what is the rest of this book going to be about? I have no idea. I'm also not super clear on what the past storyline has to do with the present day storyline. Like, I'm fully aware that there is some kind of connection based on this big action magic scene that just happened in Dana's POV. I'm sure that has something to do with what's happening in present day. I just don't know how the pieces connect. So obviously I'm assuming that that's what we're going to get into in the second half of this, but it also seems like a whole half of a book to connect these dots seems like a lot. So I'm just like, is there anything else that we're going to explore? Is there anything else that's going to happen? Or are we just going to spend the next like 40-50% of this book just connecting these dots, especially after this big action scene? It's like, I feel like the rest of it is going to feel tedious and boring. So it'll be interesting to see how the author keeps you engaged and keeps the story like flowing and keeps the story from losing momentum after this big, you know, scene that just happened. How does the author keep your attention and keep their reader locked in and not get bored as they spend the whole second half of the book, hopefully connecting these dots? So we'll see. I am enjoying it so far. I think that if I had to rate it right now, I would have to look to see what I rated Secret Circle, and then I probably would give it like maybe 2.5, maybe give it 0.25 less than whatever I gave Secret Circle, or give it 0.5 less than what I gave Secret Circle. But I want to finish it first so I can have like a better idea of what I really want to rate it. So I'll be back once I have finished this book, and I think at that point it'll be time to jump into the next poll for week 4. So I will see you guys back here in a couple of days. All right, we are back. Pay no attention to my hair. I literally just threw it up so that I could like shower and wash my face. I'm getting ready to head out to Philly for a Vampire Diaries convention, so I'm very excited for that. But we are here to talk about Our Crooked Hearts because I am here to do my final, I guess, like check-in for it, or not really check-in, just like give you my final thoughts, because I did finish this book. And the ending, I think the author did do a good job of like keeping you kind of like invested in the story and like keeping like the action, keeping that momentum going. I feel like the writing style changed a little bit. Like the second half of the book incorporates some writing choices and like POVs that weren't in the first half. Like you get like almost like this third person narrator, which the first half of the book you're getting Ivy's POV, like first person, and you're getting Dana's POV, first person. So then you get like this random like third person narrator. There was literally a point where they kept saying like Ivy did this and Ivy did that, and I'm like, who is talking right now? Like, isn't Ivy talking? Like, why is she talking about herself in third person? It was like some random third person narrator or whatever. So like that was kind of like weird, kind of threw me off. I see what the author was like trying to do in terms of like why they did that. I think they were trying to give you almost like a truly like a third person like zoom out of like what's happening instead of being in kind of like the driver's seat of some of that action, which like I said, I respect it, but it was a little bit confusing at times, and it just seemed a little, I don't know, kind of like out of nowhere, because it never did that up until you get to like 80% into the book. Now all of a sudden like there's this random unknown third person narrator like telling you stuff that's happening. So there was that. But overall, I think that this was like a cute story. Not exactly what I was hoping for, because if you know me, you know that I love stories that involve like a really good like group of friends with like really good banter and like, you know, this long history of like how they became friends and all, you know, all that kind of stuff. I was hoping for like a, you know, a group of witches, like friends, a kind of like Secret Circle, you know. That was not what this was. It was a cute story though about like family. And I think a lot of this story had to do with like our main character Ivy and her relationship with her mother. So like that was cute. I was mostly satisfied with the ending. I think the ending did feel a little bit like anticlimactic. It's like, oh, we built up to this moment and like this is like, I felt like the villain should have fought a little harder or a little more. It seemed like they kind of went down not fighting as hard as I feel like they should have fought. So that was a little bit disappointing. But overall, it was a fine book. I don't think that I would recommend this to anyone unless you are like part of that like YA age group, or if you just really like YA books, then like go for it. But I don't think, there are some YA books that I feel like even if you're not a young adult, like you can still really enjoy it, like A Gurgle's Guide to Murder. But I don't feel like this is one of those books. I feel like this is very much geared towards a younger audience, which is fine. It was good for what it was. I think that if I had read it at the time where I was in that age group, I probably would have loved it. But overall, I think I'm probably going to give it 3 stars. I looked back and I saw that I gave Secret Circle 3.25. So I'm going to give this one 3. So we're going to lock that in on Storygraph. But now that I have finished this book, it is time for me to do the final poll for the Mystic Readathon. So we're going to get my phone and we are going to jump into the last, you know, final poll for the month. So pick my reads for, move that up here, the Mystic Readathon. You guys know the drill. We're going to make it red for the sake of consistency. That way it matches all the other ones that we've done. Get that centered. And now for the actual poll. Alright, so week 4 choices. So for the first option, we're going to do the vampires first, and we're going to look for the faucet emoji. It should be in my recent, yeah, here it is. Gonna go with the faucet emoji for A Cruel Thirst. I was originally gonna use the blood drip emoji, but I think that might stand out too much and people might automatically assume that it's the vampire option because of blood. And then everybody will go vote for that. So I wanted these to be kind of like throw people off a little bit, but still like make sense. So like A Cruel Thirst, it's an emoji of like a faucet like filling up a cup of water. You know, you see where I was going with that? And then for the second option, let's look for a pickaxe. Now this is a repeat from last year because I used this same pickaxe emoji for this same book last year. This is going to be for How to Kill Your Family, which is a book that I've had on my TBR for probably like 3 years. Just haven't gotten around to it yet. I would like for this to win only because of how long this has been on my TBR and I really want to get it read. I went with the pickaxe this year and last year because the cover that I have is a girl holding a shovel and there's no shovel emoji. So Apple, need to step your game up and add a shovel emoji. So that'll be for the humans, obviously. And then for our third option, let's look for a boot. And this one is going to be for the witches. This was for Practical Magic, which is another book that I've been wanting to read probably for like the last year or two. Never read the book, never seen the movie, so I definitely want to read the book before I watch the movie, and with October right around the corner, that will be the perfect time for me to get to watch the movie, so I'd like for this to win as well. This is one where, like, I kind of want all of these to win. I really don't care which one wins, because I have a good reason to, like, want to read all of these. So there may be people who can put two and two together, and, like, they'll recognize the boot if they know that one of these books has to do with witches. If they're familiar with that cover of Practical Magic, they may put two and two together and figure out that this is for the witch faction. I don't know. That might be a little bit of a leap for people to figure that out. So, we'll see. And then for the fourth option, we're going to look for a bone. And this is going to be for Daughter of Smoke and Bone, I think is the title. I don't remember at all what this book is actually about. I just remember something about it has to do with, like, hybrids. Like, I guess the main character must be half something, half something. Couldn't tell you what. I don't remember at all. But yeah, that's gonna be the hybrid pick this time around. And this emoji is one that I'm kind of worried that people might figure out what it is. So we'll see. I feel like this might be a pretty popular emoji. This one might win just because of the emoji itself. So we'll see what happens. But let's move this and make it bigger. And I think we're ready to post. So go ahead and put that on my story and we'll see what happens. I will check back in with you guys in about 24 hours. Actually, it might be a little longer than 24 hours because, like I said, I'm going to a TBD convention this weekend and I won't be back until Sunday at some point. So we'll probably have to wait until I get back on Sunday to find out who won, which is fine because I won't be doing any reading anyway this weekend. So yeah. I will see you guys back here on Sunday. All right, so we are back. It is Sunday. I'm finally back home. It is pretty late. I'm tired. I'm about to go to sleep. So as soon as I'm done filming this clip, I'm going to bed. But I did not want to go to bed without finding out what actually ended up winning this poll. I did not keep as close of an eye on this one as I normally do. Normally I pay a lot more attention, like throughout the day, like I'll check to see what's winning and stuff. I did not check this at all because I was so busy all weekend doing TVD stuff. So I am dying to know what ended up winning. So let's find out together, shall we? So I'll pull up my Instagram. Oh, these are just stories from the convention and all the concerts and stuff, and Chase being shirtless and Chris Lee doing his pony thing. Okay, here we go. Okay, so as I expected, it looks like Daughter, Smoke and Bone is what ended up winning. I'm pretty sure I said that this was the emoji that I was expecting was going to win. Just off the emoji alone, I kind of figured that this was the one that people were gonna vote for. There was a part of me that was tempted to actually use the smoke emoji instead of the bone emoji, but I ended up just going with the bone emoji anyway. But yeah, it looks like the hybrids have finally gotten their time to shine. So we will be reading Daughter of Smoke and Bone, which is going to be for the hybrid team. What's the team? So I guess the humans, I think, are the only ones who didn't win any of the polls this year. Congratulations to the hybrids. They've been doing a really good job. They've been crushing it, okay? They really didn't need to win this poll. I'm actually kind of rooting against them at this point. Yeah, congratulations, I guess, to the hybrids who don't need any more points than they already have. But yeah, I'm looking forward to this. This is actually the one book on the list that I actually don't know anything about. I'm pretty sure this wasn't recommended by anybody. I think I just was like doing research on the internet trying to find like hybrid books, and this was what came up as one of the options. So I actually don't know much of anything about this book. But apparently it's what we're going to be reading. So I will check back in with you guys once I've gotten, probably as usual, about 50% of the way in. We'll do a check-in and we'll see how things are going. So we are back with our first update for Daughter, Smoke and Bone. And I'm currently sprinting. I have on my new merch, my Candace King merch, Burn It, if you remember the iconic line from season 6, I believe. Got my little Burn It hat on. Well, it has like this cute little match on the side. I don't know if you can see it. It's super cute. I love this. One of the many things that I got from the convention this past weekend. Anyway, we're here to talk about Daughter and Smoke and Bone. So, I think I said in the first clip when I was like just about to start reading this book that I didn't really know anything about it. I don't think it came recommended. I think it was something that I kind of found as I was like researching hybrid books about hybrids, characters that were half something, half something. And so I didn't remember anything about what I read about this book back when I was doing that research, because this was like months ago that I was putting together the list and what all the different options were going to be for all the poll picks. So I still don't fully know what she is. She's half something, half something. I'm thinking that maybe she's half angel, half human or something. I'm not exactly sure. I haven't figured it out yet what she is. I don't think it's been revealed yet. Maybe it's been hinted at, but I don't understand what the hints are if they're being dropped. But I feel like she's half angel, maybe. Something like that. But I've actually been paying attention to this, which is great. I'm enjoying it thus far. I'm not like loving it, but it's not bad. I'm like, you know, I'm interested to see where this is gonna go. So it's a good sign to me that I'm halfway in and I haven't checked out yet. But basically, this is about a girl who was raised by a guy named Brimstone, and he's something. I don't really know what he is. Chimera maybe is what these people, these creatures are, because there's Brimstone, who was the guy she was raised by, but then there's also like one or two other people that I think live in that house that were like friends or something that also helped like to raise her. And I think they're Chimera, which I'll be honest, I don't even know what that word means. I'm gonna have to look that up. But yeah, she was raised by this guy named Brimstone, and she lived in like this magic world, this alternate universe or something. It's not really clear. Like I think there's like Earth, and then there's like wherever she grew up, and I don't know if it's like a different dimension or a different planet, or I don't know. I don't really understand like where these worlds are located in proximity to each other. But she can like go into like, I guess, our regular human world, that she can like take like these portals to come into like Earth or whatever. But yeah, she was raised by this guy named Brimstone in this other universe place with these other creatures that also helped to raise her. And she goes back and forth between like our world and the world that she was raised in. At this point, she is a college student who is, I guess she's studying art. I don't really know what she's studying. She has like this sketchbook that she carries around, and it has all these different drawings that she's done of the people from that other realm that like helped to raise her. And so when her human friends see it, they're like, oh, like you're so cool, like where do you come up with these ideas? And she'll tell them stories about the people that raised her, and because they think that she's just like making up characters, they're like, oh, that's so cool. Like they don't realize that like she's telling the truth. They don't think that she's lying, they just think that she's a storyteller. And so she kind of runs with it, and she tells them stories all the time because she knows that they're not actually going to believe that any of this stuff is real, even though it really is. And then she also has like tattoos on the palms of her hands, I think. I don't know what those mean yet, but I feel like it's probably important. And basically Brimstone just like sends her off on missions to do random things. So it could be sending her on a mission to like steal something or retrieve some information, or like he like will send her sometimes to collect teeth, which is weird. I don't really know what that's all about either. Hopefully that gets explained more as the story goes on. And so while all of this is going on, there are like these shadow figures that pop up different places in the world, and people have witnessed these shadow beings like leaving handprints on doors, like burned handprints into doors. And when these people report it like to the news and stuff like that, people don't believe that there are really these figures or these beings going around leaving these handprints on the door. They just think these people are making it up, but like there really is something going around leaving these handprints on the doors. I think they're like trying to seal the doors, because these doors, I think, is what our MC uses to go between the worlds, between the realms or whatever, like the human realm and then like wherever Brimstone is. I think that's what these doors are for. And so something is going around putting these handprints on the doors, and then I think they're like sealing them or something. So she is having a difficult time like getting back and forth between the two realms. And then our main character comes in contact with one of these beings, and he's like dumbstruck when he sees our main character. And he's like, who is this girl? Like, who are you? Where'd you come from? Whatever. And it seems like maybe he is either afraid of her, he recognizes her, there's something there when he sees her, and he wants to know like, who is she? And I don't know what it is that he knows or thinks he knows about her as to why he like wants to know so bad like who she is. He's described as being like just this most magnificently gorgeous, perfect faced creature that you've ever laid eyes on. And I think he's an angel. I think he's actually an angel, which might be like how they know each other. Like maybe she's like half angel and he can like angels can recognize other angels. So I don't know. I'm just speculating here at this point. But now that the doors have been sealed, she can't get back over to like Brimstone's side of things. And the angel guy told her that there's a war going on, whatever that means. Now, I don't know if this is considered romantasy. I didn't originally get that impression because it didn't even seem like there was like a love interest. Like the book starts off with her ex, you know, her talking about her ex, and he does something really interesting in the very beginning of the book. But outside of the fact that she has this ex, there's no real current love interest. So I was not under the impression this is romantasy. However, now that we are halfway in, I'm thinking that maybe this perfect-faced angel guy might be the love interest, which is interesting that we've waited so long into the story to introduce this potential love interest. Usually I feel like that's something that you get introduced to pretty early on, even if they're not introduced as the love interest, you still meet this character early on. Whereas this character, we're like 50-something% in and we're just now being introduced to this dude. So that's an interesting way to kind of reveal the love interest in what is possibly a romantasy. I don't know if this is classified as such, but yeah, I get the impression that maybe they knew each other in another life or something. It kind of reminds me of like Sailor Moon and like Mamoru or Prince Endymion or whatever, how they like knew each other and then they came to the Earth. You know, if you've seen Sailor Moon, you know the thing. But like that's kind of what this reminds me of, where it's like maybe for some reason she has amnesia or something and doesn't remember that she knows him. I don't know. I'm still trying to figure out where we're going with this story. But like I said, I am interested. I am actually paying attention mostly. I mean, there are things that I don't understand just because I don't understand it and I don't read a lot of fantasy. So there are things like Chimera where I'm just like, I don't know what that means. I feel like I should know what it means, but I don't. So there are different things about like, I guess the world building aspect of it all that I'm not fully familiar with. But I am interested to see like what's going to happen. I think that sometimes with stories like this, I don't care or I check out or I get so confused and overwhelmed that I'm like, I don't want to do this anymore. But no, I'm interested to see what's the story, like why is he so interested in her? If they do know each other, why doesn't she remember that she knows him? What is she like actually? Because I'm sure she's half something, but like what is it? So yeah, I have a lot of questions and I'm actually interested to see what the answers are going to be. So I am going to continue reading this and finish sprinting. And the next time you see me, hopefully I will be finished this book and I will be wrapping up this vlog, which will finally be the end of the poll picks. So I will see you guys back here once I am finished with this book. All right, I am back to give you my final thoughts on this book and to close out this vlog. So I have finished Daughter of Smoke and Bone. And first of all, I did not know this was a series. Or at least I'm hoping that it's a series, because the way that it ended, it literally ended with it saying like to be continued. And I was like, wait, we're not going to get an answer to this. So I definitely want to read the second book, or at the very least find like a spoiler vlog or something for the second book, because I need to know what happens. I don't want to like spoil it in this video, but like you get an answer to the whole thing of like why the angel perfect face man thought that he knew her and like what that connection was. But like I said in the last clip, they sealed off the other like realm. Brimstone is like missing and all this kind of stuff or whatever. And like the war is happening and blah, blah, blah. But that is the piece of it that we don't really get a resolution to by the end. Like that's kind of like the to be continued piece of it. So I'm just like, wait, no, I need to know like where is Brimstone? Like what's going on with Brimstone? Where's everybody else too? Like all the other family, like pseudo family people that were like taking care of her and stuff. Like, is everybody okay? Like where are they at? What's going on? What's gonna happen next? Like what's going on with this war? None of those questions are answered. It's just more so the story behind what the connection is between our main character and this perfect face angel man. I will say that I think that their story is interesting. Very YA. The romance is very YA for sure, because it feels like they kind of like meet each other. They met each other like twice. And then they're suddenly like, we're in love, we're gonna change the world. Like, let's be the ones to change the world. It's like, okay, love that for you. As I was reading this book reminded me of, there's this girl on Instagram, I don't know what her name is. I'll like try to insert a video of hers if I can find one. But she does these videos where she basically like makes fun of what YA romantasy books sound like. And I never really had a good reference point. Like I always thought the videos were funny, but I never really had like a good reference point because I don't really read YA like romantasy. So I kind of just was using like Fourth Wing or like ACOTAR, like kind of like as my reference point. But after reading this, I'm like, oh no, this is the kind of stuff that she's talking about in these videos. But yeah, overall, I thought that the ending was very interesting. I think that it was also interesting the way the story was told, like as you're getting these different flashbacks, it was a little bit confusing, I'll be honest, because you're kind of getting flashbacks to a bunch of different times. It doesn't like go chronologically in order. It's like you'll get a flashback to like 5 years ago, and then like 2 years ago, and then like 6 years ago, or you know, whatever. Like I don't even know what the actual increments of time were, but it was kind of like jumping around in the past. So trying to understand like where are we in the timeline was a little bit confusing, but like I'm pretty sure I got the gist of it. Also, there's a really interesting betrayal that happens that I probably should have seen coming. I'm honestly disappointed in myself that I didn't see this coming. But yeah, that was good. That was well done. But yeah, I'm just excited. Like I said, I definitely want to look up like spoiler vlogs or something so I can find out what else happens in this series. I'm curious if you've read this series. Should I continue? Is it worth continuing, or should I just look up like a spoiler vlog or something like that and watch that? Because I do want to know like where Brimstone and everybody is, or like if they're okay, if they're alive. Like I just don't know. I feel like I need those answers. The rest of the story I don't really care about. I feel like I got what I needed from everything else, but I'm interested to know where Brimstone and the crew are and whether or not they're even still alive. But yeah, overall I'm trying to think, what would I rate this? I'm thinking that I probably want to give this, I'm thinking maybe like a 3.25, 3.5, something like that. I'll figure it out. But that's kind of where I'm leaning, because like it wasn't bad. This is why I'm kind of thinking like 3.5, but it also, you know, wasn't great either. So I need to like take a look at the other books that I've rated in those categories to try to figure out where I feel like this belongs. But yeah, it'll probably be one of those two. But yeah, that is it. That is the end of this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you guys for, if you voted in the polls, thank you guys so much for voting in the polls. If you participated in Mystic Readathon, thank you so much for participating in Mystic Readathon. Hope you guys had a good time. I know that I did. But yeah, thank you guys so much. If you made it this far into the video, drop like a regular person. Since the human team is the only team that didn't win any of the poll picks, let's give a shout out to the humans and drop just like a regular person emoji down below in the comments if you made it this far into the video. If you have not already, be sure to like this video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you are not already subscribed. I'd love to have you as part of my channel, and that way you don't miss any other content that may be related to the Mystic Readathon or future years for the Mystic Readathon, or TBD content, or any other bookish content, or guitar content, or anything else that I decide to make on this channel. Before you leave, check out some of my other content here on the screen, and I'll see you guys in another video. Bye.